And so watching you, my brother, you have an opportunity to be the next big attraction in this business simply because you got your shit together. I've never seen anybody get this as quick as you have.
Thank you.
I've never seen anybody since I've been a wrestling fan, since I was in the business 4 years, I've never seen anybody pick up on it as quick as you have. And your stuff looks fucking believable. There's no holes in your work, so just don't get hurt.
Yeah, that is the big thing, huh? Well, first off, honored to hear that. Thank you.
Well, I told your brother that when I saw him in Miami, what, a month ago, baby?
Yeah, he called me. He said he told me that. Man, it's such an honor hearing that from you, obviously, and I think I've recently kind of had that realization, and I try to say this humbly, but also not. I did like look in the mirror and looked at my craft, and I thought like, I think I could do this if I actually like devote my time to it. So I did have the conversation with Triple H. I said, hey, I want to be the guy. What do I have to do to be the guy? And I'm gonna start making that run next year.
Good.
2025.
Good.
And I've learned so much. Wrestling is the hardest thing I've ever done. I've done a lot. It is by far the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. There are so many skills involved. It is a 360-degree art, as you know. And at the end of the day, like you just said, it always comes back to storytelling.
Yeah.
What is that root of that story you're trying to tell so you can hook people into your arc? But what I don't understand, and I've heard these stories as I'm matchmaking and match building, is your ability to show up on the day and call the match on the spot.
Yeah.
Because how can you tell a story that well on the fly? In my head, at least the way I like even just script my content or anything, I'm mapping out the beats, you know? The exposition, the climax, all his lost moment, like all of that.
Yeah.
And so how were you able to do that and still tell these incredible stories with your work?
Well, I had a good teacher. I had Andre who taught me, you know, and he beat the shit out of me for about 8 years. And then I kind of won him over in Japan because I spent half the year in Japan. You know, I'd go to Japan 22 to 24 weeks a year. And, you know, I worked for Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling over there. They owned a company called Pride also. So when you walk in the locker room, everything was written in Japanese, and they wrote the card out every night, and you never knew who you were wrestling because I couldn't read the Japanese stuff, and you didn't know if it was one of the boys from New Japan Pro Wrestling or it was one of the Pride guys like Bob Sapp or one of these crazy son of a bitches, you know. So every night, and thank God I was young back then, so I wasn't afraid to fight anybody back in the day, but it was just different. But Andre pretty much taught me, you know, and one of the weirdest things that happened was when I went to work for Ted Turner, and me and Eric Bischoff got that whole NWO thing going, you know. We tried for like almost 9 years to put Vince out of business, you know, and we were at war because me and Vince is like this love-hate relationship with me and him, you know. And so at the end of the day, when we came back to the WWE, Vince calls me and goes, I want you to work with The Rock. Well, my goal was to work with Stone Cold Steve Austin and, you know, have a couple-year run with him. As the bad guy, you could beat me every night, and I could lie, slipped on a banana peel, sun was in my eyes, somebody pissed on my back, I thought it was raining. I got a million excuses.